If you're already wealthy and you have lots of money, great connections, and a phenomenal, resource and network, it's easy to find ways to make money. But if you're just starting out, or you don't have anything to start with, or you're starting from pretty much zero, then it's a little bit more difficult. And in this video, that's specifically what I'm going to show you how to do, how to build wealth when you're starting from nothing at all. Fortunately, this is a solution that anybody who wants to build wealth can use, and it's not the same kind of advice where pretty much you got to already have like a $3 million net worth for this to even work. Some of those things is like, invest in the S&P 500, invest in real estate, or invest in something that can give you dividends and things like that. Those things are great, but you have to already have massive amounts of money for it to even work, and that does not work for everybody. I'll admit, that could be great advice for those that have the means to actually do so, but in terms of realistically building wealth, regardless of your background or education status, and you're starting from zero, these are a few things that I recommend from personal experience that can actually work for anybody. Now, before I go into my specifics, I want to warn you, you have to be very careful who you listen to, because people would tell you that debt is bad, and if you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, or any kind of debt for that matter, you're irresponsible. The only way that you can actually be successful is to go to college. And then people would tell you to never start a business because it's too risky. And the reality is, a lot of times people are projecting onto you what they have considered, deemed, and accepted is what's safest for them, and they want to actually keep you safe. So in all actuality, people have really good intentions, but the reality is this: most people that want to give you advice in this area is not somebody who's credible. They don't have results in that specific area to really advise anybody. And when you're thinking about building wealth, it's not personal. A lot of times it's business. And I'm not saying you have to have a business or own a business to become wealthy. I'm saying it's business from the perspective that it doesn't matter if it's somebody you love, or somebody you're related to, or somebody you're friends with, or even somebody who's your enemy. It's about you taking the necessary steps to build wealth, regardless to who it comes from. Because a lot of times people who've never built wealth before, who don't even want to build wealth, they don't even desire even more money. They want to tell you what's best for you as it relates to you growing past where they are. Because a lot of times people don't want to be left behind. And so instead of them doing what it takes to move forward, they would rather do what it takes to keep you staying backwards. And that's really the reality of not taking advice from people who really don't have the credibility in that area. Wherever you are and wherever they are, that's as far as they can advise you on, because they've never been any further. And if people have never been any further than where you are, they can't advise you past where they currently are. In reality, if you truly want to build wealth, you must go against the grain and do what others are unwilling to do. And you've heard the saying before that in order to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done before. But it's also you becoming somebody who you've never been. Because you've heard it just like I have, a lot of people get a windfall of money, and because they have not become the person, they end up losing it. And so a large part of you getting wealthy is becoming the person in advance. Because you've probably heard me say it before, the greatest form of faith is preparation. And if you plan to get wealth, if you expect to get wealth, you have to first imagine yourself being deserving of it. Now, I will say this, there are 6 steps that I'm going to be sharing with you. And the first step of the 6 is to make money. Now, hear me out before you cut this video off. I'm not saying that it takes money to make money. What I'm saying is this: in order for you to build wealth, there's some kind of methodology that you need in order to make money. Now, the thing that I strongly encourage you to do is to find ways to make money based on results and not time. So when you think about ways that you can make money based on results, when you get certain results, now you can tweak them, refine them, and get results faster to make money faster. A lot of times people make a whole lot of money, they just make it too slow. So if you just find ways to make money fast, that can help you speed up the process to actually get money to invest in things that can actually make you wealthy as well. So I'll say this, one thing that I did to even get myself out of 6 figures in debt, one of the things that I did was affiliate marketing. So if you haven't heard it before, it's just ways where things that either you've used before or things you truly believe in, you can ask them, do they have an affiliate program or partner program, if you will, and you can get a commission just from sharing with other people about this particular product or program. Now, in order for you to build wealth, the thing that I would encourage you to do from that perspective is find things that pay a high commission. Something that might pay you at least $100 or $500 or even $1,000, not something that's like low, where it's like $7 or something like that. And I'm not negating that, but we're talking about wealth building here. And in order for you to do that, sometimes it takes the speed. Like wealth loves speed. And so from an affiliate marketing perspective, if you can find just different things that you truly believe in, because I would not try to sell something that I don't really believe in, because it's going to show when you recommend it to others. So find things that you truly believe in and you recommend it. And that can be something that makes you money even when you're asleep. Now, I'm not saying that it's just simple and it's just easy. Matter of fact, I am saying that it's simple, but it's not easy. But it's something that can actually make you money in your sleep. So I actually know people, actually 5 people right now that are making bare minimum 6 figures every single year selling somebody else's product. They only do affiliate or partner marketing, if you will. They don't even have their own product. So that is just one way to do it. Something else that I highly recommend, and I think is one of the most undervalued ways to build wealth, is selling. When you think about one of the highest paid skills in the world, it's selling. And you can actually sell on the side even if you have a part-time job. Because there's people that have all kind of products, but they need people to sell their products for them. And they're willing to pay people a large sum of money to sell their products. And the great thing about sales is that once you learn a skill, you can apply it to pretty much anything. Whether you're selling houses, cars, it really doesn't matter. And sales is one of those things that when you become good at it, regardless to how much money you make right now, I know that's a bold claim, but regardless to how much money you make right now, when you get good at sales, you can double your income, whatever it is right now. However, it is a skill that can pay you a large sum of money, even doing it part-time, or even doing it, partially a part-time. Like, you don't even have to do it full-time, and you can still make great money from it. Something you can also do to make money that's based on results is start a business. When you think of the most successful people in the world, they've started business around problems that they're currently solving. So when you think about a problem that you can solve, that is a business that you can actually make money from. And here's the other thing. Like, sometimes people start a business that already exists and they just find another way to make it better, or faster, or more efficient, if you will. And so a lot of times when you think about if there's a lot of people doing something, people think that it's saturated, and there's no room for them to get in. It's actually the opposite. If there's a lot of people doing something, that means that there's a lot of people on the other side paying them to do it. And there might be more people that's needed. But starting a business is a great way to make money that's based on results, and it's not based on time. Because when you start, the right business, if this is for you, you can actually now enlist people to sell your products on your behalf to other people. So therefore, you're making money off the efforts of other people, and you're helping them help other people in the process. So you might be thinking, Chris, well, I don't want to start a business. I don't want to do sales, but I still want to increase, my income as well, or make an income so that I can actually build wealth as well. What do you have for me? So I will say this to you, that if you currently have a job, one of the best things that you can do to actually raise your current income is by looking for another job. And people that stay in their job longer than 2 years, statistically, they make significantly less than those that seek opportunities every couple years from a growth perspective. So if you currently have a job and you're just not an entrepreneur, you don't want to do sales, you don't want to start your own business, you don't want to do affiliate marketing, one of the best things that you could do to actually increase your income and use that extra to invest in is look for other jobs that pay you more than what you're currently making. Because a lot of times there's different, bonuses or incentives. When you think about those bonuses that you get, that bonus is like an immediate pay raise in addition to everything else that you get, going forward. Now, the second step is to think from multiple perspectives when you're solving problems. So when you have any kind of money problem, what I encourage you to do is think about 5 solutions to that one problem. And then when you think about those 5 solutions that you came up with, think about what is the absolute best option for you to go forward with. You might be thinking, well, if I have a problem, there's probably not 5 solutions to it. The reality is this: we don't realize that the quality of our life is based on the quality of our question. So when you ask yourself, what are 5 ways that I can solve this financial problem? If you sit there long enough, your mind is going to come up with an answer, because whatever we ask ourselves, our mind is like a heat-seeking missile. It's always going to look for anything that we program it to find. And so when you ask yourself the question, what 5 solutions can I come up with to solve this problem? Your mind is going to find it, even if it's not currently in your awareness right now. Step 3 is step outside your comfort zone. I want to encourage you to do something if not every single day, at least once a week, do something that's different than you normally do. Do something that's outside of your comfort zone. Read a book you've never read before. Go around people that you've never, went around before. Have a conversation with somebody new, but do something different, because what this does is it broadens your perspectives and it gives you like an ability to look for ways to build wealth that you never looked for before. Because if you just do the same thing, your unconscious mind is going to be on autopilot and it's not going to look for anything different. So when you challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone, what you really realize and you determine is that the very thing that you want the most is outside of the very thing that's keeping you comfortable. Your comfort zone does not have wealth in it. Your comfort zone does not have success in it. Your comfort zone does not have your desires in it. So when you step outside of your comfort zone, now you can actually be introduced to the wealth that only you can obtain and that you deserve. When you think about people that stay comfortable, if you think about David, if David just stayed, herding sheep and feeding sheep, he would have never conquered Goliath and we would never hear about his story. So it took him even getting out of his comfort zone and not dealing with the things that he was most familiar with and not staying focused on the things that he knew for a fact he can conquer. He challenged himself. And the same thing for you. Like maybe there's things that maybe you conquer easily without any thought, but it's time for you to find out what is your Goliath. And Goliath might not be something that threatens your life. Goliath just might be something that makes you extremely uncomfortable. And so the thing that I used to do when I was younger, I used to go to places that I felt like I did not deserve to be there. Like super wealthy people, and like I barely had enough money to even pay for my meal at some of these places, but I would go there and I would force myself to be in these different settings that at one point I felt like I was not supposed to be there. I felt like I wasn't worthy of being there, and I felt like I didn't belong. And I kept going until I finally got comfortable being uncomfortable. And I got to a point where I got comfortable just being comfortable. And I started to feel worthy of being in some of these places and I started to just watch people, and my awareness opened up in terms of what was possible for me, because a lot of these people, they didn't have anything more than what I had. They just had the belief that it was possible. And that within itself was a big turning point for me, because when I realized that it was not only possible, but it was possible for me, that's when wealth started to become a reality and not just a wish. Step 4 is take calculated risk. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying be irresponsible or do something just flat out dumb. I'm saying that it's important for you to take risks, but be sure that they're calculated. Now, here's where you want to take some of the extra money that you've made from, one of the first steps in terms of if it's, it's affiliate marketing, if it's sales, if it's starting a business, or if you just got more money from, a current job that you have. You want to use these extra funds to start investing in things that maybe you understand to a certain extent can multiply your money. Because one of the best things that you can actually do is to make your money work just as hard for you as you work for it, because that is really what wealthy people do. There's something called the power of compounding interest, meaning that when you put money into something, that money literally becomes a snowball that continues to just get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. That's pretty much a big money pile that continues to grow. If they don't touch it, that specifically grows for them in the things that they've invested in, but they had to start with something. And so what I'm saying is this: it's important for you to take a risk, and take a risk in using the extra funds that you made in the previous step to put towards this. And I will say this: avoid the temptation of upgrading your lifestyle, because a lot of times when people, they make more, they spend more, and they buy themselves I deserve it gifts. And when you buy yourself I deserve it gifts, those I deserve it gifts keeps you stuck in places where you don't deserve to be, but you continuously stay there because you keep buying I deserve it gifts. Now, there are 3 areas that I advise you to take calculated risk in, and the first one is banking. And you might be thinking, well, what does that have to do with anything? It has everything to do with it. There's something that's called cash flow family banking. And when you look at the richest companies in the world, no matter what their industry is, they all do the same strategy. And what they do is they actually create a bank for themselves. And it's something that people have been doing for over a century that average everyday people can do as well. But typically people don't even understand that it's available because their mind does not even think that they can actually have access to a bank. And here's something that I want you to understand. The house always wins. Whether you're talking about the casino or whether you're talking about a bank that loans people money for a house, or a bank that loans people money to buy buildings, or a bank that loans money to buy businesses, the house always wins. And the bank is equivalent to the house. So when you think about you creating your own bank, that is a way for you to essentially always win. The bank wins regardless of the economy. When the economy is bad, the banks win. When the economy is stable, the banks win. When the economy is doing great, the banks win every single time. I would encourage you to go to cashflowfamilybanking.com. I'll leave a link in the description and consider creating your own bank. And you might be thinking, well, I don't have a lot of money. You can start with very minimal amounts of money. Like, it does not take thousands or tens of thousands of millions. You can start with where you are. But this is something that I strongly encourage you to do, because this is a way that you can cause your money to make money. Think about the bank from the perspective, like how the bank works. I'm not sure if you know this, but they take our money that you and I put into their bank and they loan it out to us, and they make money off of our money. And if they have $1,000 in the bank, they only have $1,000, they're able to loan $10,000 even though they don't have $10,000. They only have $1,000. So banks, they make a lot of money. And if we understood how the banks really work, we would be tearing down our doors trying to create our own banks. And it doesn't have to be like the banks that we see, but we create banks on the level that we're on, and we can use these banks to build wealth at a massive, massive level, because that's what a lot of these companies are doing. When you think about Amazon, Apple, Nike, all these different real estate companies, all of them have their own banks, because when you can look at most of their assets is in what I just called cash flow family banking. But I want to encourage you to look it up and not just take my word for it. So go to cashflowfamilybanking.com, and this is one of the ways that I truly encourage you to just take a chance on yourself and take a calculated risk. If you've gotten any value from this video, hit that like button. And I want to know from you, out of all of the steps that I shared, what was the biggest takeaway from you? Put that in the comments below, because we can learn from each other. And what you might put might be different from what somebody else put, but we can all learn from each other. But I'm curious to know, what was the biggest takeaway from you that you're actually going to do? And put it below in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.